In today's episode, come back during night shift, stay whole shift if you believe delays are not too long. Oh, you want me to park in my driveway and block everyone? You got it, neighbor. With photos. Standardized testing, only read the directions. So let's get started. Come back during night shift, stay whole shift if you believe delays are not too long. Second time posting here, this story is from 2014. Don't work there anymore since 2015. Setting. I was working in a top Asian brand factory in the engineering department. One of my main and many tasks was giving support to production with new models and also training staff when product rework was needed. At this point I'm a year into my engineering position and am sick of my work environment, as it was hostile in many ways and was common for me to work 65+ hours almost every week. Overtime was paid. This is relevant later. For reference, my work schedule, in paper, was 5 workdays, with 10.2 hours each day, including breaks and lunch, but I ended up also going most Saturdays and staying late on weekdays also. The story. One Friday morning, my team manager, Jeff, not real name obviously, requested me to go home and return during second shift, because there was rework needed on some product and they need 2 members from our team during said rework. Jeff's instructions were as follows. Go home, get some sleep, come back at the beginning of second shift, give rework instructions to staff members, supervise until they finish and then send me a report with the outcome via email, stay overtime if needed. Simple enough. I just ask about my morning hours, and he states that the time I have worked that morning would be added to my overtime hours, and that I work second shift as normal hours from 7:30 p.m. to 4:20 a.m., and to stay longer if necessary to ensure everything was okay, paid overtime also. This whole exchange was done verbally, but in front of the department manager, so no worries. After talking to me, he went to a coworker, we will call him Jim, to ask him to also do the same as me. Cool, we agreed and I clocked out at exactly 10 a.m., 2.5 hours into our shift, and then head out to the parking lot. Jim stayed 2 more hours due to another pending issue. Here comes the first problem. I go out to the parking lot, and it's pouring, like Jumanji flooded house pouring. I get to my car, and it's blocked by many other cars parked in prohibited positions. We were having big issues with this, not enough parking space, and can't get out to head home. I returned to the security guard's post to get out of the rain and call Jeff. He didn't pick up, was in a meeting, or so he says, so I call my supervisor, Brad, instead, telling him that I can't leave due to the parking issue. Minutes pass and Brad comes to the parking lot and has a little flash of genius. He sees his car is not blocked and proposes we switch cars and exchange back on Monday. I agree and go on my way back home, somewhat tired, hungry and soaking from all the rain. Second problem occurs, the day passes and I head back to the factory just in time for the second shift, only to find out that rework will start only after 11 p.m. due to some production delays. For me it's cool, I get time to do other pending work. As the hour draws near, the product that needed rework was not ready, nor would it be ready by 11 p.m., so Jim called Jeff, told him the situation, to which he stated if you believe beginning of rework delays too much, go home and please come back on Saturday morning. No additional comment was given from us, we just agreed and he hanged up. Jeff was a fan of people following his instructions to the letter, and as you can imagine, this new statement pissed off the both of us, because Jeff was trying to avoid paying overtime for us just waiting idle and not doing this task, even though we had more activities to do anyways. Also he was very known for having a silver tongue for making promises and getting out of them for petty reasons, happened to me already. And I also was kind of annoyed because of the parking lot incident that morning. I lost like 45 minutes in the rain just trying to get out. At the moment I only had 2.5 clocked hours in the morning, and 3 more into the evening. Meaning that even though he said those first 2.5 hours were overtime, I knew that wasn't in writing, so the next 5 or so clocked hours of Saturday morning would not be overtime, and if I didn't go, I wasn't going to have the total regular hours needed that week, and that HR would just deduct them from my overtime hours. At this point, Jim and I looked at each other, and I asked him to repeat what Jeff said on the phone. Cue malicious compliance, Jeff said if you believe. Meaning that his words gave us free will, and we were going to follow his instructions to the letter. We were told by staff that at midnight rework process would start, and at 10 minutes before midnight they would procure the people for us to train. We believed this wasn't a big delay, so we rolled the dice. We trained the staff, but product was delayed again. When we asked for new ETA, it was 1 a.m, that was perfect. Again, we believed it wasn't a big delay. By the second time we asked, the production supervisor got wind of what we were doing and played along. These 30 to 60 minutes delays continued until 4 a.m. when finally rework process started, but we only had 20 minutes on shift, to which I remembered the first instruction Jeff said: supervise until they finish and stay overtime if needed. So us being the model employees, we complied. Rework was done by 7:10 a.m. Jim took off as soon as we finished. He had worked more hours in the morning. Just as I was sitting to make the report and send it via email, per request, Brad arrives for his overtime shift, and was pissed off when he learned we didn't go home and started until 4 a.m, and called Jeff to let him know the status of both Jim and I. I explained to Jeff via phone about how we complied exactly how he told us to, and that we were given small delays each time that we didn't believe to be too much. I also told him that Jim already left to sleep, but I could stay if he needed me to. Jeff was not vengeful, just a pain to work with, so nothing bad came out of this. He saw that I had outplayed him in his own game, and with his own rules, so he admitted defeat and told me to clock out for the weekend and come until Monday. I got my normal hours plus extra 6 hours after that whole thing. Bonus, I exchanged back cars with Brad that same Saturday morning instead of Monday, which was nice. Oh, and the rework that was done that Friday night had to be redone again on Sunday, because someone unrelated to us messed up and Jeff had to go himself to supervise because no one was available from our team. Oh, you want me to park in MY driveway and block everyone? You got it, neighbor. With photos. This just happened 2 nights ago, and it struck me how I didn't think to post it here. Tuesday, we had a snowstorm in my province, yay, Canada, and we received 20 to 25 centimeters of snow, approximately 0.8 foot of snow. The snow is not the problem. The problem is the snow removal. The neighbors has a shitty contract with a shitty company who blew the snow in front on their driveway. I live in a 5-apartment complex. Behind the complex is a 3-spot parking for the other residents. My boyfriend and I both have a spot to park, which is a 2-car long vertical parking besides the complex. We share the big driveway with the neighbors on our left, with a gap in between for the cars parked behind to get in or get out. Here's a picture of what it looks like. The black car is mine and the snow blown in front of their driveway. Well, Wednesday afternoon, I come back from work and imagine my surprise when I see this big A*S snow mountain. As my boyfriend's car is parked where I am right now, I can't park on my usual spot in front of him. I'll block everyone from leaving or entering. I go park in the streets, but since there has been a snowstorm and the snow removal process is starting that night, I can't stay there for the night, or I'll get a ticket. My neighbor Y downstairs decides to call the owner of the complex on our left, and he says yes, she can park in front of the snow on our side. I do that. 2 hours later, an old lady rings everyone's bells in my apartment complex and demands to speak with the black car's owner. I get down. The conversation goes like this. Old lady. Are you the owner of this car? Me, I am indeed. Is it problematic? Oh well, it is. This is my parking spot. My daughter comes regularly to visit me and I need this spot. This is my spot. You have no right to park over there, mind you, there's no one parked there. Only her husband has a car and his spot is behind the complex. Her daughter will not visit tonight nor tomorrow morning, nor in the next weeks, since no one can come visit anyone anymore. The pandemic rules are pretty strict where I am. Me, I am sorry, ma'am. The owner of your complex said it was okay. Oh well, I am so tired of fighting with everyone. I always fight with everyone. This is not your spot, kid. I'm trying to explain how I will block the passage if I park in my driveway. I keep asking her to look at the snow. It blocks anyone entering or exiting if I take my usual spot. Oh well, I don't care. I do not care. You take that car and park in your own driveway. Me, but I will block the pass. Oh well, I don't care. You park in your driveway or go in the streets. This is your problem. Me, I will not get a ticket when your owner said it was O. Oh well, why you leave immediately or I call the police blah blah. I shut the door, F***king mad. Fine. I'll park in my spot, and I'll block the whole driveway, ma'am. I simply do that. The thing is, two of my neighbors work from home, my boyfriend has a day off on Thursday, the old couple downstairs are retired, and the other one takes the bus. I simply don't block anyone, except for the complex on our left. Thursday morning, who wants to get out at 6:30 and honks loudly in the parking lot? Old lady and her husband, whose parking spot is behind the complex, not even on the side, you got me. I could have parked there, it would have made no difference. I go downstairs, pajamas, coat half-zipped and wet hair. I wave and smile. Your car is blocking the entry, she yells through the down window. I know. You asked me to park in my driveway, which I did. I see her husband on the driver's seat, looking at her like Janet, not again. She rages a little bit and says, fine, go in my driveway if you F***king want. I need to go to work now, I'm late, of course, ma'am, thank you ma'am. I simply smiled and got in my car, rewinded, let them pass and parked in her driveway. Oh joy. This morning, my boyfriend and I left for work. When I came back, I took his spot. Tonight, she'll be happy to see no one is parked in her driveway. Until my boyfriend comes back home, winky face. I'll try to take a picture for you all. Standardized testing, only read the directions. After seeing a bunch of testing posts from the student perspective, I thought I'd offer one from the teacher perspective. This incident is part of why I decided to teach preschool instead of working in public education. I was finishing my degree in early childhood education and had to spend a full year in a classroom. The first half of the year was spent observing and teaching with the classroom teacher still in the room. The second half was teaching on my own. This also meant that I had to administer the standardized test in the spring. I have always hated standardized tests from the first time I had to take one. I dislike them even more from a teacher point of view. They don't accurately measure anything, they take away the ability to teach fun and cool things, because every lesson has to meet a standard, and they are stressful, and in my opinion harmful, to students. My biggest issue is the fact that all students are required to take the grade level test, regardless of their actual learning level. So I had students who were reading at a first grade reading level, and were getting intervention to help them catch up, but they were expected to read the entire test by themselves, and still score well. I hate how schools use these scores to define students. Some students are allowed waivers or special help during the test, but there are only a certain number allowed per school, based on number of students, and they are reserved for the most impaired students. The week before the test comes and I was literally handed a packet on what to review with my students for best test performance, along with the packet of information on how to administer the test. Essentially, I read the introduction of the test, demonstrate how to fill in the bubbles, encourage best guess, and a few other things. Once the test has started, the only thing I can do if students have questions is read the section instructions to them. There are no specifics on how the instructions are to be read. On the day of the test, as expected, some of my students who normally received extra help were struggling. They couldn't understand what they were reading well enough to know what to do. Math was especially difficult for one of my students. Cue the MC. Because he struggled to read, the story problems were too difficult for him. He couldn't figure out enough of the words to set up the math problem. I wasn't allowed to read any part of the math problems for him. All I could do was read the section instructions, which read something to the effect of read each problem carefully. Determine whether it requires addition or subtraction to solve the problem. Write the problem in the testing booklet and record your answer on the answer sheet. I don't recall the exact wording, but that was basically it. When he came to me for help, I repeated to him what I was supposed to say, telling him that I can't give any specific help, but I can read the instructions to him. Nowhere did it say that I had to read the instructions word for word, or that I couldn't leave any words out. So the first time he needed help, the problem required addition to solve, so I read the instructions, read each problem carefully. Determine whether it requires slight pause, addition to solve the problem. The next time he needed help, I read the same but omitted addition and emphasized subtraction. This didn't come close to giving him the support he should have been getting for this, but it at least gave him an idea of what to do. I wasn't going to let him completely fail because politicians have decided that a test score is more important than the student. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.